Welcome to Around the Hearth, a Hearthstone podcast brought to you weekly.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, and it's time for Around the Hearth. And now, he would squeeze this Hearthstone stress ball every day if he had one. Is Rebobson.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that lovely little intro, Adam. It was beautiful.
Good.
So, hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 55 of Around the
55,
Hearth.
that's great.
And this
55.
is a Hearthstone podcast thrown together by a bunch of guys who are going to miss you, Toast. So, before we get started, I think it's worth us talking about why we had to postpone the show for an entire week. Something we haven't done besides Christmas in the entire time that we've existed. So last Monday we got some confirmation that Toast the Badger, someone who we were fortunate enough to have as a guest on the show way back in episode 44, had taken her own life at some point on Sunday evening. Toast was, the episode that she was on was I think the best episode we've ever done. Yeah. But Toast was in a lot of pain. She was suffering a lot, and still an incredibly sad decision. And we took the decision to just not put on the show last week, so we could all kind of process, pay our respects to Toast, and it just felt wrong to kind of continue the show with that in mind. Anyone who's listening, as people who are heavily involved in gaming, we all know that esports gaming can be quite a isolationary, solitary lifestyle, and sometimes you might struggle to get the help that you need. And just know that if you do need help, if you need someone to talk to, all of us on the show, just hit us up on Twitter, on Discord or something. We'll always be there to talk if you need an ear to just talk about some stuff.
Yeah, we're here to listen to you guys.
Yep, yeah. We love everyone who listens to the show. We got our little family, and you guys mean a hell of a lot to us. So we'll always be there for you, basically. Sorry to have to start the show on such a sad note, but it's a pretty important topic.
Basically, so, we'll be your hero power, always available.
More than once per turn, though. Yeah. But, on to some slightly happier topics. Got to give our customary shout-outs to our wonderful Patreons, of which we have so many more now. So thank you, Louise, Babyman, Kara, Jennifer, and Huckman. As well as we did have a new Patreon happen in between this show and our last one. It was literally just after the last show that took place. So thank you, Honeybee, for becoming a Patreon as well.
Yay!
Welcome to the dysfunctional family.
Yeah, we're a beautiful little unit that we got going on here. So thank you, patrons. Make sure to join our Discord. Get your nice little Discord role so everyone can look at the fact that you're a Patreon and be like, wow, I wish I could be like that guy.
Behold your magnificence.
Yep. And of course, if you are a Twitch sub or a Twitch Prime sub, if you just want to, get on your dad's Amazon Prime account, link it up to your Twitch account, get some free stuff, and give us a little sub. You'll get some of our little cool Around the Hearth emotes to use. And let's get some of those going in the chat.
You know what? It doesn't have to be your dad. It could be your neighbor 5 doors down. They got Amazon Prime. You should link your Twitch to it.
If you have a close working relationship with your neighbor 5 doors down, then go for it. I wouldn't advise just breaking into their house.
Make sure they got it.
Yeah, it's no harm to it's really no harm to them, and you get all the benefits.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, we do not endorse theft on this show, just for the record. Except Dubs, apparently. But we don't listen to him. So, I think without further ado, guys, let's talk a little bit about our week in Hearthstone. Adam, How was yours? Oh, 2 weeks in Hearthstone, really.
Oh, 2 weeks. All right. So 2 weeks ago was extremely busy for me as far as planning because of the Brotherly Brawl tournament, which we'll talk about a little later in the show. So that pretty much occupied all my Hearthstone time. That tournament went extremely well from a playing perspective, and despite all if you were there for the history of how the whole planning process went down and all this, you would understand that there was a lot of curves and twists in the road. But we got done. We got done, and that's what matters. And it was successful. I would say it was successful.
I would agree that it was very successful.
Yeah. We'll talk about Brotherly Brawl a little later. Then last week, I decided I was going to start playing ladder again, and I decided, hey, Quest Rogue's back, and I like that deck, and I'm going to play it. And I didn't lose, and the entire last week, I think I lost 2 games on that deck the entire week, the entire time I played.
Wow.
Which, wasn't very long, but man.
Good effort.
I think it's really annoying for the other guy,
right?
Yeah, I remember one guy. I think one guy had me down to 7. It was
Vicious Scale High is so annoying.
So Vicious Scale High brought me back from 7th health against a Baku Hunter, which I should have lost.
You beat a Baku Hunter with Quest Rogue. That's not a matchup you should be winning. That's a good one.
It was kind of crazy. It was all right, I could just use I had a plan. I drew I drew a Scale High, and then I prepped a Mimic Pod into 2 more Scale Hides, and I'm okay, I'm gonna use Scale Hides to stay alive until I can finish this, and then I'm gonna finish it with Scale Hide, and I'm gonna win the game with Scale Hide. Then that worked out.
Scale Hide's a pretty nuts card in that deck.
Other than that, I've been doing Monster Monster Hunt, which I have a really cool story I can tell you about my experience with Toki the Time Tinkerer later in the show. Something it's a kind of, which is I guess a hero a lot of people either love or hate. But
yeah,
I had a very positive experience with mine. Yeah. That's enough of me. Dubs, how was your week?
I'm ashamed to say I haven't touched Hearthstone in 2 weeks.
Oh no!
I haven't even logged in.
Gosh,
I have been adulting big time. Well, I am preparing to go to college. I might be going down to Orlando, or I might be going to California, or I might be staying in Ohio. It's crazy because it's coming down real quick, but yeah. So I've been working on that nonstop.
God
damn.
All right,
cool. Well, real life always takes precedence over video games, so
yeah,
it's true.
You can always play Hearthstone on the can. We do advocate that, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what it's made for.
So my wife goes, "I know what you're doing. Keep that down there."
Stop that.
You're taking an awful long time up there.
What is wrong with your body?
What's your Bobson? How's your week? 2 weeks been?
Well, going back 2 weeks, I did play in the Brotherly Brawl. The event happened. I didn't do particularly well, gotta say. My lineup I think my lineup was good. I just lined up again. I got very unlucky with who I played against.
Oh yeah. So let me run. So let's run it. Robobson, who's your first round opponent?
So my first round opponent was Black Snap, a guy who you may know. He's kind of around the Philly scene. We all kind of know him on the show. Very consistent, high legend finisher. Very good player.
Right.
Great dude. But
that was if I recall, that was a loss. So all right. 0-1. Now who's next?
Okay, so then I was 0-1, and 0-1 in a tournament with a lot of people. You're kind of just like, oh, I should get an alright matchup here. Nope, I got Hot Meowth at 0-1. And he swept me because his lineup was very good against mine, as well as the fact that he's a pro. So that was pretty rough.
But next round was redemption time.
Next round I matched up against Steffi, good friend of the show, good friend of mine, and I got a win back there. But then I queued up into someone who had even Warlock, and he beat me.
So even Warlock? Oh, that was who you lost in round 4.
And at that point, I quit the tournament. I was like, I've lost to even Warlock. This is not my day. I'm done.
It's fine. You got as far as how Mouth did. He didn't make it through either.
Yeah, it happens. We'll talk a bit more about the people who did well in the tournament when we get to our tournament news. But then, like after the news last week, I did actually kind of decide that I was going to take a bit of time offline and kind of get my head in check a bit. So the past week, I haven't really played a great deal of Hearthstone, and I've made the decision that I'm going to grind a lot less. That is, I think, what I'm known more for doing, but I've decided that I'm going to play a lot less Hearthstone and just focus a lot more when I do play. So hopefully I can be just as successful, but just play a lot less and take a bit more time for real life, because I do kind of need to graduate university at some point. So that's kind of the plan.
Well, you don't want to get burned out on the game either.
No, but then so I've just kind of thought I'm going to focus more on playing like competitive, like playing in THL, playing in some tournaments. I did play in the Swagoi members tournament over the weekend, and I came 4th in that. So that was pretty good. So when I have played, I've been winning. So I'm just gonna try and keep the play less, win more approach going, so far as Hearthstone is concerned. And I still haven't even finished Monster Hunt.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I have 1 win.
I still have to finish 2, so.
Yeah, it takes a while. So I mean, we've all not played that much Hearthstone, admittedly. So
I mean, I played enough. Let's put it that way. At least I got somewhere.
You got somewhere, but I think that's enough about our weeks. Let's talk about some game news, Debs. What you got for us?
Yeah. So finally, First, Blizzard released that they are going to be changing possibly some cards. The big one to note is the Naga Sea Witch, which us WoW players absolutely, I don't want to say despise, but it makes the game not fun when they play Witch on turn 4 and fill the board with giants and you just lose. So they are looking into that. They didn't specify what. There's a lot of ideas the WoW MD has how they can make it still, fun but not absolutely broken. So we'll see about that. They've also been talking about a few other cards here. Sunkeeper Tarum, Call to Arms, the Baku Paladin Hero Power. Not Baku, but just for the Hero Power for Paladin. Spiteful Summoner, Possessed Lackey, Bloody River Gul'dan, Dark Pact, Cobalt Librarian, and then a little bit, some of the cards in Quest Rogue that specify, and also
they did actually specify that they were talking about the quest itself rather than any of the
again? Oh boy.
Yep.
All right.
Because it's just such a I think the Quest Rogue and the Naga Sea, which do kind of tie together a lot. They're both incredibly uninteractive and just highly polarized matchups, and it's kind of you need to cue the right deck into it or you lose kind of deal.
And the crazy part is these cards are all, I don't say the problem with the game, but anytime someone has frustrations about a deck, these are the culprits right here. So if they can balance these without, just completely destroying them, I think we could still have the same fun decks, but it won't be absolutely polarizing.
Yeah, it won't be quite as nuts. Except Naga Sea, which obviously they can just destroy that card.
Yeah, considering
that card can go to hell.
Considering it never saw us play in Standard for any reason, it's kind of funny that it ended up this way.
Yeah, they were just hey, you know what? Let's buff this card to infinity by making it absolute.
I mean, they could just make it go back to how it was.
Right.
The Giants just cost 5.
It's really 5, not any other number.
5.
Yeah.
I mean, going from 20 to 5 is still a big jump, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Or 15 to 5 if you had to make it, because it would be free if it was the current state. Yeah. I think the point is no free Giants, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, free Giants are bad.
As you guys know, also.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
But they did not mention Barnes, which I'm very sad to see.
Yeah.
Barnes is going to stay as it is, unfortunately, at least for the time being. So there is kind of the thought that they've said that this is going to happen after HCT playoffs, and DreamHack Austin is the 1st of June, so and playoffs finish on the 20th of May. So there is a very small window that I think this can take place in. So I think this is going to be within like the next few weeks. And that excites me.
Yeah. So I think probably I just wonder how you would balance. I know. I just wonder how you would rebalance the Baku here, the enhanced power hero power.
2-2.
It's
2-2 is even better.
No, it's not,
it's
because the most
You want to have a wide board.
because I mean the whiteboard is one thing, or there's the thought that the 1/1s it makes aren't Silverhand recruits, so you lose some of the synergy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
So
you lose like the synergy with level up with Lightfuse Stegodon. Obviously not Lightfuse Stegodon, that's an even card. I didn't just say that, but yeah, like level up.
Level up.
Quartermaster
Quartermaster.
in Wild, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of remove some of the really powerful synergies while still keeping the deck there. And I'm fairly sure that the reason they're talking about the Paladin Hero Power specifically is because the costs of either Sunkeeper Tarim or Call to Arms, they're thinking of changing it to an odd number. And if they don't do something about the odd hero power, then odd Paladin will
That would
suddenly
be
be
nuts.
insane.
Imagine
Yeah.
a 7-cost tear him, and you just tear him, and then hero power and tear him.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I think Call to Arms is definitely something that needs to be touched because you get like absurd value. It's like 6 mana worth of dudes for 4 mana at best. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, card's still really good at 5 mana. Card's still playable at 6 mana. At 4 mana, it's nuts.
If it was like summon, and also the other thing is like you get triggers from that. Like summon would be a different thing, I guess, but I don't know how that would work. Like that way you couldn't get like the crazy knife juggler, like high rolls, stuff like that.
Good old Call to Arms Knife Juggler. Bane of everyone's life.
No, I'm just saying like that card single handedly like revived knife juggler, in my opinion. Like knife juggler is a fine card, but this made it like way, way, way better.
I think they should just make it 1-cost cards, and that will destroy it. And
Well, it would destroy an even paladin, that's for sure.
That would be
That'd be cool.
hilarious.
Then nobody would play this thing. They would just play a Murloc paladin.
yep.
Yeah.
And then for
still works.
Goldan, I think they should just resurrect 1 demon.
Or just like one of each demon.
That's really not that powerful as a thing. It's like
Well, I mean, the hero
If you
power
make
is still
it
good.
like just resurrect one of each demon that's died, that could be something. Like,
yeah,
so
that would
you
be
get-
cool.
like
At least you
15
can
more
diverse.
boards.
It would reward you for like diversifying demons in your deck, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you
and
won't
change
have
Doom
like
Card to have Rush.
7 Doom Guards just from Gul'dan, just kill
I
you.
can think of a way to fix all these cards, honestly.
Yeah,
Librarian,
yeah.
I don't know, but like Lackey, give it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers.
That would be hilarious.
That way they keep dark packed it.
Like,
Doom Card, give
oops.
it Rush. Goldan, the one Spiteful Summoner, like 5, like just summon a 5 cost. Reveal a spell that costs 5 or more. Summon a 5 cost minion or something. I don't know.
Or Spiteful Summoner could be remove the spell from your deck after you play it.
Oh yeah, that would be. I mean, that's fine with me. If you want to,
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
I'd still be cool
still be okay with getting rid of like my
Yeah.
UI. You know what I mean? There's. Can we talk about like an absentee on this list? Where is Skull of Golden on this list?
I think Skull's a very fair card.
Yeah,
I
don't think
don't.
it's a problem. 'Cause
I
you gotta
don't.
think it
It's
happens.
it's 5
You control
mana
it, it
do
happens twice.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
it's a really really slow card. The problem with Q block is everything else on the deck. Skull is like the Skull by itself is a fair card. Void Lord by itself is a fair card.
It's a fair card,
Q-
but it's
Dark
it's
Pact
like-
is a really unfair card.
Yeah,
Possessed
well,
Lackey
it
is a
like
really
1 mana,
unfair
yeah.
card.
Yeah,
Like Dark Pact
I
is
think-
insane. I think Dark Pact's like the card that should be nerfed most, as well as Lackey.
Yeah.
That's
All
a lot
right,
of health and stuff.
I think Skull's
Well,
like rubbish
Skull,
as a card.
Well, the thing is, like, Skull like requires specific answers, and like, like pretty much, like, if you look at a lot of decks, like ladder decks, like everyone's running weapon removal now because they're not like mostly because of Skull, but for other reasons too. You know,
That's true.
but like, the Skull is like, if you bomb somebody's skull, that's like a time walk in Magic terms. You basically got a free turn.
Right.
Yeah, so like if you have that, that's good. But if you don't, then things start to
Yeah.
spiral
Yeah, but it's-
out of control.
But then that's why it's kind of fair because it's so vulnerable to that.
Right, but that's a polarizing experience.
I suppose that's true, but like if you nerf another aspect of the deck, then you have a lot less incentive to run Skull in the first place and run what is essentially quite a fair, kind of a bad card, because you lose like your other like super powerful broken stuff. So if you fix the other parts of the deck, then Skull's fine. But like Dark Pact is insane no matter what you do to any other cards.
From the chat, in regards to these nerfs, Clark Hellscream says, please be after DreamHack, please be after DreamHack, please be after DreamHack. The DreamHack's coming up at the end of the month, so I guess that's probably
Clark.
Probably after that, yeah.
No, DreamHack's at the start of June. And
is it?
Like I said, I think playoffs finish like 20th of May. DreamHack's the 1st of June, so I think it's going to happen during that period. So there's going to be like a week where people have time to figure out deck lists for DreamHack, and that's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, so everyone's going to be changing their deck except like Elias Minute, like it'll be a mad scramble.
Yep, I love mad scrambles. And okay, EK does raise a relevant point about the nerf we suggested for Gul'dan. If you say one of each, then you're guaranteed to pull Mal'Ganis in Wild, and that's
that would be bad, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that suggestion for Gul'dan, bad idea. This is why we don't work for Blizzard. Well done, guys.
Yeah. Let's move on from these cards. We got a lot to talk about.
We do.
As you all know, Monster Hunt is available now. So how's everyone been doing? You know, if you guys been enjoying, say in the chat. If you got the card back yet? Have you got a single win? Let us know. We want to know regardless.
I
have not got the card back yet.
I don't have the card back either, but I'm halfway there.
I have one win, and that was because the cannon guy, Darius Crowley, is just absolutely busted.
Yeah,
Crowley. I had like 3 cannons out, and I got 2 of the cards that gave your cannons +2.
+1.
So I was just like, well, it was +1. I thought it was +2. It was +2.
+2.
I was shooting for 5. They were all 3 shooting for 5, and they killed 1 minion, so I got to do it again. So I just blasted the guy in the face.
If you get Darius Crowley, and if you get the passive buff, which means that your cannons like do 1 more damage and cost 1 less, then you just win. Because that is insane.
I think in my experience, like if they get something that's like hero specific, they're usually like a treasure that's hero specific. It's usually pretty good.
Yeah, like tests. Your hero power costs 1. You can use it twice in turn. I got what is it? The card that deals 3 damage for 1. I can't remember the name.
Oh, Sinister Strike, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, get another one. Take another one. The next turn, hit for 6.
Just keep playing Sinister Strikes and just kill him. My favorite run that I've had so far was a Toki run.
Or like somehow get your hands on Auction Master Beardo and then keep getting rocks over and over again, just like no spells.
No, my favorite is with Tess. You get the rock, but you fight the guy that all spells have.
So you just hit him in the face 60 times with rocks.
Here's a rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Rock.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Shutterwalk.
Oh, I wanted to share my Toki story.
Yeah, I've also got a good Toki story.
Okay, so for those of you that haven't played Toki the Time Turning, the final boss is called Infinite Toki, and she is the source of much agitation for many players.
To put it lightly.
Basically, it's like if you don't kill her or have certain things, she just beats you.
She restarts the game.
She basically restarts the game, and you're down health. So I was lucky enough to pick up a pile that had Auction Master Beardo in it, and I got to use it against her. And I had an unstable portal, so I kept rolling unstable portals until I got a favorable outcome. So I got one Ragnaros out of that. I got the double cast passive too. So the first spell you cast over here, you cast twice. So I rolled one. I got a Ragnaros. I put it out. I got Ragnaros in my hand. Then I also had a Ragnaros in my. I had Yasharaj in my deck also. So the next turn I played the treasure card that says draw a card. It costs 0 and you get 3 copies of it. So I got 4. I drew a Yasharaj and I got 2 or 3 more. So I played all my Yasharajas.
Oh god.
And then throughout the course of the game, I somehow got my hands on a few counter spells. And then when she went to go play that 10-mana spell, I was like, no. And that was the end of Toki.
Yeah, my crazy Toki run was a quest mage run. I got the quest with the passive, which means that the first spell you cast every turn costs. No, the first spell that you cast every turn gets cast again, and like it took me like 2 games to realize that if I played the quest reward as the first spell each turn, then I got to take 3 turns.
Oh,
And that was fun. Like I came really close to actually losing the penultimate boss because it was like something to do with murlocs, and I managed to just like take 3 turns, clear their board, and then kill them on my 3rd turn. It's like
some of the bosses before the end boss are unfair.
Screw Gnome Napper.
Yeah, Gnome Napper. Like, come on. I understand. Like, you think gnomes are not powerful, but when you get to full board of them, it's a lot different.
That card is busted, and Face Collect is also really hard.
Yeah, I haven't passed him yet. I assume you're supposed to like mill him out or something like that.
I beat him the first time I played him, but I haven't beaten him since, and I can't remember for the life of me how I actually did it. And I still haven't. None of us actually know what Hagatha looks like or does in the fight. So maybe in like 3 weeks' time we can report back on that.
Yeah.
The rate we're going. But yeah, let's talk about Shadowwalk before we move on.
All right, so Shadowwalk's animation speed has doubled, and the number of battle cries is limited to 20. So you're not going to get like Shadowwalk. You have like 25 minutes worth of turns. It's going to stop at 20, which is still a lot, but it's better than just any number.
I mean, you still win.
I mean, the card's still the deck's still terrible. So
no, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's still fun. I don't know. It's a fun card. It's now my goal to get it to 20. That's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to get 20, which probably won't be that hard. But they also they sped up Life Drinker's animation. You know, when you play it, it goes takes life. It's to use. So they sped that up in double Shadowwalk's animation speed, so it should take a lot less time if someone has a 20.
Yeah, so you don't have a 6 minute. So you don't have a 6 minute Shadowwalk resolution.
I mean, I was watching this guy's Toast, and he literally he played Shadowwalk. And then this is like Shadowwalk, and he switched over to IRL and was walking around showing his house for literally 10 minutes, and he came back and it was still going off. You're like, man, this is taking a long time.
Oh my god. Yeah, Shadowwalk's
It was against the Warrior, I think, and he had like a lot of armor, so hitting him for 3, and then eventually hit him for 3 again, and eventually hit him for 3 again.
Oh yeah, when you're the Warrior, you just can't do anything about that. You'll eventually just die.
And then also, Noble Garden is coming May 9th, which is
tomorrow.
2 days. Yeah. Well, for you, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, for me, it's tomorrow.
It's only from the 9th to the 13th, and they're celebrating World of Warcraft is beginning of spring or Easter. And all players receive a free golden Devil Sword egg and also a golden egg napper. So, not anything special, but I mean, golden cards, there's free dust.
100 dust, yeah. I love me that 100 dust.
They really didn't need to make this a holiday.
And it's a little goblin wearing a Easter Bunny outfit.
Yeah, because this is supposed to be like the WoW equivalent of like the spring holiday or Easter or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's it for game news. But
I definitely remember Jackalopes being involved. So if I don't see Jackalopes at some point, I'll be upset.
Hopefully, they have some kind of cool themed tavern roll for this, at least.
Yeah,
maybe.
Oh, please.
All right, Boston. So, what about this tournament news? We got a lot going on here.
Okay, there have been a lot of tournaments in the past 2 weeks. So, first one, obviously, as I mentioned, the Brotherly Brawl took place. Took place on the weekend of April 28th. Over 50 players competed for a $5,000 prize pool. So, Appa of Coin Concede was actually the winner of the entire tournament. And he won with a lineup of Q-Block, Quest Rogue, Spiteful Druid, and Turbo Mage. Good decks. He brought good decks.
Yeah.
In the final, he played against someone called Cap9, who had a Baku Warrior, which pretty cool, but it couldn't deal with either a Q-Block or a Spiteful Druid, unfortunately. Then in the top 4, we had Jetlaw, who's actually a THL teammate of mine. So, big shout out to Jetlaw there. And Zephos, was the other player in the top 4. Zyphos. And then rounding off the top 8, we had Earl and Edelweiss of Swagoi, as well as Waking Mars, who was like 10. And
he was like 12. I think he was like 12. He came from Minnesota. Him and his dad flew from Minnesota to go to the tournament live, which was pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet. And Syntherius was the last player running off the top 8, so they all got like a pretty decent amount of money out of it. And
yeah, Apple took them 2K, so that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a decent amount of money. And like, got to say props to Adam. Everyone was commenting on like how well run the tournament was. Everything went very smoothly. A lot of people were saying on Twitter how like it was like way better run than like most tour stops. So,
oh really? I mean, I've never been to a tour stop, so I have nothing to gauge it on. So
yeah, it's good.
We probably have less players there, honestly, than a tour stop. But to be fair, it's hard. We did a hybridized tournament, so it's hard managing between on people who are there and people who aren't.
Yeah, you did a good job of managing that aspect. It went pretty smoothly. Sat here at home playing, even though I didn't do it for very long. Yeah,
well, I mean, you tried. That's what's important.
Yeah, so
beat Steffi. That's even more important.
Yep, beat Steffi. I'm considering my unbeaten record against her. Most important thing. Yeah, so Brotherly Brawl went pretty well. Moving on to HCT Taipei, which was the first tour stop of the Year of the Raven. This was on the same weekend, actually. And there were some slightly more interesting decks being brought all the way to the top. The tournament was only 15 people due to Archangel, one of the players, being unable to play for an undisclosed reason. A player called Switch won the whole thing with Q-Block, Murloc Paladin, Tempo Mage, and Baku Hunter. And his opponent in the final, Staz, also had Baku Hunter in his lineup. So there was a Baku Hunter final. But Staz also had Q-Block, Tempo Mage, but Quest Rogue. And the Quest Rogue obviously was the weak point there against a lineup with both Tempo Mage and Baku Hunter.
Well, with Baku Hunter or Murloc Paladin and Hunter, I don't know how Quest Rogue is going to ever survive in any of those matchups.
Yeah, what Switch said after the tournament was that his plan was to soft target Quest Rogue and Warlock, and his opponent in the final was running both of those things, so kind of got what he desired. So good job, Switch. More on his lineup in a hot minute, but just rounding off the top 8 there, we had Katsukari and Swagoi rounding off the top 4, and G9, Maligos, TW, Mkwaifu, Treads Red, and Shipping Order in the top 8. And Mkwaifu is my new favourite name for a player. Shout out to that. And then this weekend, we had even more HCT. So we're just going to go through this quick fire pace. This weekend was the EU Summer Playoffs. So everyone's trying to qualify for the Summer Championships. This weekend is EU. This weekend is NA, I believe. And then the following weekend is Asia. So there's a lot of HCT action going on. So what happened in EU was the top 4 in the end was Turner, who you may remember was the losing finalist to Faley in a tour stop like a month ago, and they actually got a rematch in the second day of qualification, and this time Turner managed to beat Faley in what you might say is the most important one, because Faley got knocked out, did not qualify for the Summer Championships, while Turner did. So, in the long run, I think Turner came out on top.
Yeah.
And the other 3 players who qualified were Viper, Bunny Hopper, and A83650.
That's the best Hearthstone name I've ever heard.
Right? Just a bunch of letters and numbers. Fantastic stuff. Really makes it easy for the casters, I'm sure.
I can't wait for hear the casters, so I obviously, but next time I can watch this. Hear them have to be like 83650.
Yeah,
every time.
Coming up next, yeah.
Can't wait. And just to And the lineups which got top 4 this time are very much a kind of indication that the meta's settled quite a lot now. So just talk about the lineups very quickly. A numbers brought Murloc Paladin, Mind Blast Priest, Spiteful Druid, Control Lock. Bunny Hopper brought Mind Blast Priest, Spiteful Druid, Control. Bunny Hopper brought Spiteful Druid, Even Paladin, Tempo Mage, Cube Lock. Turner brought Quest Rogue, Even Paladin, Tempo Mage, Cube Lock. Viper brought Cube Lock, Mind Blast Priest, Taunt Druid, and Miracle Rogue. So Viper, weird dude, brought some funky stuff and did well with it, but he did like win every game 3-2 that he played, and that's just exhausting to go through 2 days of tournament winning everything 3-2.
Yeah, that's a lot of games.
So Miracle Rogue probably still not a particularly safe shout. Spiteful Druid's good, Cube Lock's good, Murloc and Even Paladin are good, Tempo Mage is good, Priest did okay. It did get several players in the top 4 did get it, but like throughout the tournament it was like the deck which did really badly compared to what people were expecting. And the reason that we see it in the top 4, I think, is because so many people brought it and a lot of them just didn't do well, but enough of them did to make it to the top 4. But the meta's kind of reached that point where it's kind of any given tournament lineup is maybe 8 or 9 decks in some combination.
Yeah, we've somehow reached endgame already, like tournament endgame already, which is kind of crazy.
Yep, took all of a month. Fantastic stuff. And then, next tournament to talk about. There's so many tournaments. Like I said, it was the Swagoi members tournament this past weekend. So a player called Carius, who I was not familiar with, took first place. Then second place was Nalgadan, the player who's been like the Brazilian player who's been like playing in Copa America and stuff.
Yeah.
Very surprised to see him. He swept me at one point. It was great. Earl, the player who came in the top 8 at the Brotherly Brawl, came third. So he's doing well for himself.
Swagoi was represented in the top 4 at least.
Yep, and he keeps beating me, which is really annoying.
He's pretty good.
I lost to him twice in this tournament.
Oh,
I lost 4 times, and 2 of them were to her. But to be fair, I came 4th, so I was pretty happy with that. With my
at least you got paid.
Yep. The Baku Hunter did some work. I brought the exact same lineup which won HCT Type A. Like, card for card. I just completely neck-decked it. I didn't want to give any thought to it whatsoever. I was like, I'm just going to bring the lineup that won. And then it got to top 4. And I did kind of really heavily throw the third place game, because by this point it was like 6 a.m. in the morning for me, and I was just like, I want to go to bed. I can't think about Hearthstone anymore. I especially couldn't play Cube Lock under those situations. I just completely screwed it up. So it happens. Tournament fatigue is very real. Avoid it if you can. And so we move on to another special little tournament. It's the Around the Hearth May Standard Tournament. It's coming up this weekend, guys.
Yay!
Saturday.
Yeah, so it's going to be this Saturday at noon Eastern Time. So it's not quite on the same scale as Brotherly Brawl insofar as the prizing is concerned, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would say certainly not. But it will be. But I am admitting it. So that's that.
So there'll be top quality adminning at least, and like there'll still be some prizes up for grabs. So first prize is going to be a $20 BattleNet gift card, as well as an hour's coaching from both myself and ZT Dubs down there. Second place will just be the 2 hours coaching, one from each of us, and then third place will be an hour's coaching from one of us of your choice, and obviously you're going to pick me.
Yeah. For those who are on the fence into joining, it's going to be a quick tournament. It's just 2 out of 3 conquests as opposed to 3 out of 5. We're only doing single limb, so it won't take your whole day.
Yeah, it's
so
just
if you're worried about like a time thing. Yeah,
5-6 rounds max.
Yeah, it's going to be 5-6 rounds, like 64 people tops. And it'll be over in like maybe a few hours most likely. So if you've just got nothing to do on Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening if you're where I am, then take part. We'll be streaming everything on this channel, or like streaming the latter rounds, should I say. So even if you don't play, come tune in on Saturday afternoon and watch some, what I'm sure will be some great Hearthstone. And finally, we're almost at the end of tournament news, guys. I've never spoken for this long consecutively on this show.
Well, we've had a backlog, so.
Yeah, this is what happens when you don't have a show for 2 weeks. There's just so much stuff to talk about. Quick note, anyone who's in Twitch chat now, DS Adam has just posted the link to the tournament, so get in there. But yeah, our buddy, EK Designer, great friend of the show, often comes on here, the man responsible for these beautiful overlays we have. He has formed a Wild team with a bunch of top Wild players. They are called Team One Trick, and their kind of mission statement is to be, they kind of like to get some proper kind of competitive Hearthstone going for the Wild format. So they've introduced this system where points are going to be awarded based on Legend Wild finishes. So kind of similar to the way HCT points work now, except it's going to be from different finishes from 1 to 100 will award different numbers of points, and then the top 32 point earners at the end of this month and next month are going to be invited to a Wild tournament hosted by One Trick, and the top 8 is going to be fighting out for top 8 is going to be awarded a minimum $1,000 prize pool, but that could very well grow depending on sponsorships and whatnot. Team One Trick is a very new organization, so they've got a lot to do, and they've got some they got like the biggest names in Wild on there. Get Me Alf, Danny Donuts, Banana Ramek, all those guys were like the highest of Legend players in Wild. So,
ZT Dubs?
No ZT Dubs
I wasn't
though.
invited.
Oh.
It's because you haven't played Hearthstone for 9 days, ZT Dubs. Come on, man.
Yeah, that 9-day break got me.
It got you. It's worth saying that cash prizes are for US or Canadian citizens only, and it's on the NA server only. So Legend finishes on EU or Asia will not count towards this. So if you're on NA and you play Wild and you feel like maybe grinding things out to get some cash monies, you should totally check it out. And if you want to read more about it, I think you can find them on Twitter at Team One Trick, or just at One Trick. EK's in the... Okay, I've just been told that I completely got the players in it wrong. It is not Get Me Out of Banana Ramek. It's EK, Concern Mum, Slizzle, Ruffle, Tesmazet, Tombo Wombo, and Danny Donuts. And it's at Team One Trick. EK, as always, in the chat, ever reliable. Thank you, man. And that's the end of tournament news. We made it.
We did it.
All right.
So let's quickly talk about some Tavern Brawl, Adam. What up?
All right, so 2 weeks of Tavern Brawl to talk about. First, let's talk about the one from 2 weeks ago called A Witchy Recipe. Basically, it's a 1v1 scenario where players select the class, and you play with the newly implemented pre-con standard deck recipes for that class. So, like, some would include, like, I think self-affliction Warlock, where, like, you hurt yourself to get benefits, kind of thing. Shaman had, I think the Shaman deck had Hagathon, and I'm not sure what the rest of the deck was. Something. But I think this is a really good brawl for a few reasons. One, it lets people play with new cards you might not otherwise have time and resources to grind them up. Two, it could possibly you can get some oddball quests done, like play 10 demons, without having to build a new deck, which is nice. And third, if you're Blizzard, it could possibly influence more pack purchases because, hey, you played with a deck you like, you want to build it, time to buy some packs to get those cards.
Yep.
Because
you've got to replace Ben Bird somehow.
Yeah, well, if you're going to tell me that a card game won't survive, it can survive on without, taking in some kind of income, then I don't know. I just don't think that's true. Anyway, also the decks, the pre-con decks are pretty fun and interesting. So I would say for me, it's, the fun scale of 5. This is probably a 5 out of 5 for me. Bobson, what do you think about this one?
I mean, I liked it. The only thing I didn't like about it was the timing. It was really weird to have this come out like 2 weeks after the expansion, like just as the hype train was like kind of died down.
Yeah, I guess it's a good point. Like if they had done this like a week before the expansion, that would have like at least generated some hype. You know what I mean? Hey, I just play with some new cards.
Imagine if like they always have the deck recipe brawl, and like I'm always just kind of like, why don't you have this like be the because obviously expansions always come out on a Thursday. And Tavern Brawls come out on a Wednesday. Imagine if they had the deck recipe brawl come out on like the day before expansion launch. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
The only three I did like this brawl. I just thought it was really weirdly timed. So I'm going to deduct a point because of that reason. So I'll give it a 4. It's still fun.
And because Robobson deducted a point, I'm going to deduct another. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Oh,
rip.
I think it was about 3.54. Honestly, I played like a couple times, but so I didn't really get the full feel for it. But I mean, I did not like it, so that's usually automatically a 3.
Okay,
that's fair.
And then this past week was the return of the Brawlseum, otherwise known as Heroic Tavern Brawl. Heroic Tavern Brawl doesn't cost as much. Not really much to say here.
I didn't know about this until today. I love this.
I call it Heroic Standard Arena.
Yeah, it's Heroic Standard Arena. It's like
was it wild?
It was not wild.
No, it was the standard one. I liked the wild one. This one I didn't even do my free run on all my accounts because
I didn't even enter honestly. I don't want to really give it a rating. There's not really much to say about it.
It's not really a tavern brawl. Screw it.
It's not really a tavern brawl. It's like a bridged ladder.
Yep. So screw that. Let's move on. Let's talk about some metas.
Some meta talk. All right. So the meta has shifted. Last time we talked, it was all Paladin and Warlock. Pretty much as it, but now it's very diverse. So we'll go and talk about it. First, we have Control Warlock, and then Q Block.
Tempo Storm. This is going to Tempo Storm.
It's on Tempo Storm. Control Warlock, Q Block, and then Quest Rogue, then Even Paladin, Spiteful Druid, Control Priest, and Murloc Paladin. So a lot of diversity, a lot better than it was originally.
Yeah.
And then for Tier 2, we have Odd Rogue, Aggro Mage, Miracle Rogue, Odd Paladin, and Taunt Druid.
So, I'm surprised Miracle Rogue is this high up.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Because I have seen like maybe one Miracle Rogue the entire time I've laddered in the last month.
Yeah, I mean these are some fun decks too. So I mean it's cool to see a lot of diversity, and like obviously there's still double Warlock, double Paladin, but there's also now
there's 3 Paladins, 3 Rogues, a Priest, a Mage, 2 Druids,
Warlocks.
2 Warlocks.
So... Yeah, can we just say? Robobs, didn't you say that Control Warlock was better than everyone thought? And this kind of like proves you right, even though it was not that last time we did this.
Baku Hunter got bumped down Tier 3 as well. Shame.
Yeah, Tier 3 is just the kind of other things.
Yeah, like Tier 3 is when I'm probably not interested in playing that deck kind of thing.
Spell Hunter is still the very, very bottom of Tier 4.
People are like,
Zoo's in Tier 4.
Listen, I want to make a public service announcement. If you're going to rave at me about Spell Hunter, please provide stats.
Who's going to rave about Spell Hunter? The deck sucks.
My friend George has been raving to me about Spell Hunter. He said, I think it's really good. I think we could go all the way with this. I'm like, what?
Nope.
What?
Nope. There's Odd Quest Warriors somewhere in Tier 3. There's Control Mage still there. I am losing faith with Control Mage though.
If you're gonna,
because Control Warlock's really picked up, and that's just like an instant loss.
It's like,
as well as Quest Rogue.
Yeah,
Quest Rogue's really popular, so you can't play Control Mage.
Yeah, and you're not like an aggressive hunter. You're not gonna run down a Quest Rogue. They can definitely win the game.
Yeah.
Like again. So if you're gonna come at me this time, like I said that the Weapon Rogue deck wasn't a thing, and I got proven wrong. But this time, you need to come with proof. I need numbers.
Well, I'm not sure if that's going to be forthcoming, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, there's essentially 5 classes in Hearthstone at the moment.
That's decent.
It's better than 3.
It's true.
Better than 3. Shaman's still at the retirement home, though.
Yeah, Shaman sucks and Warrior sucks. And Hunter also sucks.
Warrior doesn't stink in tournament, I think, is the point, but it's not good on ladder.
Yeah, it's good in very niche situations, but because no Warrior deck can beat any Warlock deck, so it's bad. Unless you can ban Warlock, but you can't ban Warlock on ladder, unfortunately.
Or Rogue.
Yeah, let's have a little look at what Vicious Syndicate's been saying though, because like now we're at the point in the meta where we have data that we can talk about. Lovely
Hooray,
data.
graphs.
So let's just go class to class. Start with Paladin. Even Paladin has by far shown to be the best on the ladder according to these percentages here. We have 11% is even Paladin, 4% is odd Paladin, and then 3% is Murloc Paladin. Obviously, all three of these decks are awesome, but
which numbers are you looking at? The numbers we have on screen right now, it's just I'm just looking at what people are. I'm just looking at what people have been playing.
Oh, okay. I see.
Not the win rates. I think it's more interesting to see the
representation. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, representation's very relevant. Because like looking at all ranks, Paladin is the king. Because I mean, when you're at lower ranks, people will play the Paladin. Because Q block's pretty hard, Quest Rogue's pretty hard to play. It's pretty hard to play.
You guys are actually looking at outdated information. I am currently looking at the April 25th to May 1st. Vicious Reaper number.
That should unless they came out with a new one today.
Yeah,
if we did. I'm sorry. Oh no, that's right.
So those numbers have changed, my friends.
Oh, my bad.
Oh,
let's just ignore this.
Let's just hide that graph.
Yeah, so 11% for even Paladin, 4% odd Paladin, 3% for Murloc. For Warlock, we have 10% for Q block, or almost 11%. 6% for Control Warlock, and then almost 2% for Zoo, but Zoo is not doing very well right now.
Zoo's bad.
Yeah. For Rogue, we have 6% for Odd Rogue, 5% for Quest Rogue, and then the rest is miscellaneous. Probably Miracle Rogue and some.
Miracle Rogue may be tier 2 according to Tempo Store, but not according to anyone who actually plays.
Yeah, someone prove it.
And then for
I'm not convinced.
Druid, we have almost 9% for Spiteful, about 4% for Taunt Druid, and the rest is just other variants of these types of decks. I don't know, some random maybe Armored Druid or something. But...
I mean, let's just talk about how do the numbers change between Legend and all ranks, because I think that's always like a telling indicator of
for
what's good.
For Legend, Warlock jumps to the top from 18 to 21.2%. Paladin drops from 19.2 to 18.4. Rogue goes up to about 17% from 14%. Mage goes from 13% to 14.9%. Druid goes from 13% down to 9%.
Spiteful Druid goes way down. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, pretty much Spiteful's fine. You can definitely do something with it. It's just it does have problems though.
Absolutely, especially when everyone's playing Quest Rogue.
Yeah, you just don't beat that deck ever.
I mean, you can, but it's
you just need a wicked fast start is the thing.
Yeah, the Spiteful Summons can often just be too slow when you play against Quest Rogue, and that's hilarious. Mm-hmm. 6 mana 16/16s being too slow. Lol. Yeah, and I think the biggest the biggest changes are kind of Control Priest increases by a lot. Control Warlock goes up by a lot. Even Paladin actually increases, while every other Paladin goes down. And Tempo Mage goes way up. But I guess a response to the fact that everyone at Legend plays Quest Rogue.
Well, it's a deck that just it's like a 9-1 matchup. Quest Rogue just can't beat that deck.
It's not an easy matchup. You can do super well and still just get slammed.
They just never care. They all that burn and that's going right to their face.
Yeah, it's just like
any other thing you're doing.
Yeah, it's just turn 1, just play Arcane Missiles, hit them in the face. Don't care.
Who cares? That's 3 damage. Yeah.
Got him.
It's like empty border, Cinderstorm, 5 damage, don't care.
Yep, and hilariously, Big Spell Mage is like one of the decks where you probably think that people play it more at Legend, they play it less because there's so much quest break.
Yeah,
it's under 3%.
Yeah, that deck can't beat quest break because it doesn't have counterspell or burn.
Sadness, just sadness. So yeah, meta's pretty settled at this point.
Yeah.
It's only been a month. It's only been a month.
And like all of these, like talk about all these archetypes: Cube Lock, Control Lock, Murloc Paladin, Tempo Mage, Spiteful Druid. Those are the decks we were playing before the expansion.
Yeah. I think there's always going to be like Tempo Mage of some kind. It's just like, what's in it? You know what I mean? Like, because the last one was more secret oriented. Like, I think a Tempo Mage deck is like an archetype that can persist throughout metas, but like Spiteful, like when we look at the contents of some of the decks, like Spiteful Druid got almost nothing new. Like Cubok is basically no new set cards at all. It's like maybe Lord Godfrey's in there.
Yeah, and Lord Godfrey's like a tech card that's not even.
Yeah, you don't even need him.
Like and I run Dark Possession in Cube Lock. That's quite a good card. That's like the only new card I run in the deck. Like obviously even Paladin, Odd Rogue, those are completely new archetypes, so that's something. But the only cards which have really made any kind of impact from the Witchwood have been Baku and Gen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else has done.
It's a card you don't ever have to play.
Yeah, and they're like. Those cards are never played. You never want to see those cards in your hand.
Yeah, it's like when I see it again, it's like, all right, I guess I'll play it. You know what I mean?
Like like what new archetypes can we really talk about? Like Taunt Druid has been a kind of
Taunt Druid is probably like the one that benefited the most, but just because of waning the Moon card, Witching Hour. That's it.
Yeah, Witching Hour has like made a new archetype possible, so that's.
But completely gets ruined by Hex Polymorph and Cornered Sentry.
Yeah,
I mean, usually you only play the Hedge Knocks unless you have the Naturalize. So.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if they ever played Cornered Sentry or Polymorph or Hex at any point during the game, the chances of getting
you're right.
are much smaller. Yeah,
it's a beast.
Because those are all beasts. Yeah.
Giving your opponent a unwanted beast can be very funny, but it's like so tilting if you like. The games where I've been a control mage and I've played double polymorph and they still get the Hadronox back.
It's like, oh, come on. It's like, come on.
It's like, come on, dude. Really? And then they do it twice in the same game. You just like...
I mean, it just wasn't meant to be at that point.
Yeah, that's just sadness right there. I guess the kind of Mind Blast Control Priest, that's sort of a new archetype. But it doesn't really run new cards either. It's got Scale Worm and that's about it.
I'd like to think our own Beardy Man pioneered that archetype, frankly.
Well, no, his was like Big Priest with Mind Blast. This is more like a kind of Control Priest, like we've seen quite a few times before. There's always some kind of Control Priest. While Pyromancer Power Word Shield is just good, anytime Paladin's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not... The Witchwood
We're running out of meta to talk about already, and it's only been a month.
Yeah, the Witchwood has honestly kind of flopped, I gotta say.
So far, until they make.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to these nerfs. Like they got to do some pretty big stuff, I think. Because like I don't think it's entirely the Witchwood's to do with the Witchwood. I think the Witchwood as a set, especially for a first set of the year, is probably fine. It's just the fact that it's followed the most busted set ever in Kobolds.
Yeah,
that's a bit. All the cards are kind of useless compared to the OP cards.
It kind of reminds me of, for those of you who played Magic, after Mirrodin block, there was a block called Kamigawa, and Kamigawa looked way weaker in comparison.
Yeah, Kamigawa.
I don't understand this reference, but it sounds
uncommon legendary minions that
basically,
don't do anything.
We went from it. Basically, I'll just give you a TLDR. We went from like the most busted set in Magic, where it was like there were so many broken cards that they demanded bannings at some point, to a set where basically nothing from that set got played in the following standard, and we just played the same deck from the previous standard.
GT. Let me put it in Hearthstone terms. Basically, we went from kobolds and catacombs to
Cobalt. Yeah, basically is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a reference I do understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it was bad.
Yeah, and like I think it's quite interesting to say, like, when you look at all the cards that they're talking about nerfing, like half of them are Warlock cards.
Yeah, just real quick before we move on, in the chat, Clark Hellstream says they overhyped the hell out of Shaman. That's why I don't think the Witch was as successful as the critics from a critical standpoint. They did hype that up a lot in that video.
Yeah, who's Hagatha? Like, jeez.
Yeah, Hagatha was just.
Well, yeah, where is Hagatha?
Hagatha's a good
Why
card.
Is
Hagatha is a good card. It's just in a class which is terrible.
They should have gave it to someone else.
No, like Shaman just needs a lot more cards which are as good as Hagatha.
Now they need a lot more cards
playable.
To be viable, yeah.
Like,
yeah,
Shaman just sucks. Poor Shaman. Poor Thurl. Never see him again. Anyway, let's stop bitching about the Witchwood and talk about some card of the week.
All right.
So
2 weeks ago, our card of the week was Voodoo Doll, as submitted by Hockey Boys. It's a card that's like, it was, at least in the initial testing, it was seen in Q Block, and it does make some, now is not in Q Block, but does make some control lock lists. It's a part of control, Big Spell Mage or Control Mage, because you can manipulate your power to.
I was wrong. This is the second new card I run in Q Block.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
There's two of them.
Yeah. So Voodoo Doll is actually like, it's a good card,
but it is also a tech card in that deck.
It's a tech card. You don't need it.
Yeah,
Although I remember in Brotherly Brawl, someone ripped this thing off the top and like saved the game because of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool card for sure.
This card is like really cool and very prevalent just because Spiteful Druid's so popular. This card against Spiteful decks is so good.
It's so good. Yeah, you could deal with Tarantus.
Yeah, and I really like the kind of just like flavor of this card.
Yeah, it's extremely flavorful. It's knee deep in Flavor Town.
Knee deep in Flavor Town.
Yeah. Anyway, so this week our card of the week, as submitted by our good friend of the show, Edelweiss, is a legendary card that's not maybe you have, maybe you don't. Azalina Soul Thief, a 7-mana 3/3 that battle cries to you basically replace your hand with a copy of your opponent's hand. So it does two things. One, it gives you hand knowledge, which is pretty good.
Two, it gets rid of your shit hand. Your rubbish hand.
It gets rid of your shit hand, or it gets rid of a bad hand. Also, it can increase the number of cards you actually have, or resources you have, because you can go from basically having just Azalina to having a full grip of cards.
Yeah,
very quickly.
This is really fun when both players have one in their hand.
So this card
just keep swapping.
This card has not seen much play except for like Odd Control Warrior, I want to say, because
this card is an amazing card in Odd Control Warrior because it wins you the Control Warlock match single-handedly, which is really funny.
You get their giant hand of control cards.
No, that's not the reason why. The reason why is because they play all of their seals. They get Azari in their hand. And then you take their Azari, and because you're a warrior, you've been tanking up the entire game. So then you both play Azari, then you've both got start fatiguing at the same time, and you're on like 90 health, they're on 30.
Yeah, and they're not going to win that race.
No, they are not. So like, it happened to me once. I thought I was being super clever playing Control Warlock against a warrior. I was like, I just need to play my Rin Seals. Then they played as a leader. I was like, okay, I guess I just concede at this point.
It's like,
good job, you win.
Well, you don't even need to take Azari. You can just take just any. If they have a seal, you can just grab it. And then
then you've got to do the work yourself.
It's much more fun.
It's more fun when they do all the work and you just grab Azari. I guess.
Yeah, you just take Azari. And also this is it's a very common card in Togwaggle Druid in Wild, and I just really like being able to say that sentence. Togwell Druid's a like super high tier wild deck. It's kind of like taken over from Malagos Druid as like the big.
It's actually like
Druid.
good, is what you're saying?
No, it's seriously good. Just Eco Designer, big fan. Like the way the combo works is you draw your entire deck because you're a combo Druid and wild. You've got like all those crazy tools like UI, Poison Seeds, all the good Druid removal that they have. And then what you do at the end when you have no cards left, you play Aviana, Coon, then you Togwaggle, so you swap their deck with yours, and then you play Azalina Soul Thief, so you get the ransom back into your hand.
Oh, so they can never change their deck.
Yeah, so they swap it back, and then you just swap it back again, so they're fatiguing, and then you have things... It's hilarious.
Yeah, so, again, this card's very, very, very niche. But there's a couple... we just mentioned a couple decks you can play, and we would love to hear some of the decks you guys...
If you can think of anything else that this card goes in...
I'm drawing a blank, honestly. Yeah, let us know.
I can't think of anything beyond those ones, but I'm sure there's got to be something.
But it is a super interesting card, so it could lead to some interesting decks.
Yeah, it's pretty funky, very funky, in fact. So if you can think of anything besides that a 7-mana 3/3 goes in, hit us up at Around the Hearth.
Well, I can think of a deck that she's in. And how about our deck of the week? Robots?
Ooh! Would you look at that? Would you look at these apples? So yeah, the deck that I have chosen for deck of the week is my newly crowned favorite named player, McWaifu, and this is the Baku Warrior that he brought to HCT Taipei. I was just kind of drawn to it because Baku Warrior it's like the epitome of a tournament deck. Like it will lose to. There's quite a few things that it just kind of instantly loses to, so you can't really bring it onto the ladder. It's really bad against Q Block, and it's really bad against Quest Rogue, but it can also just completely decimate a lot of the aggressive decks right now. So if you're bringing a kind of target aggro strategy, it's incredible for that, because it's very... you can just arm out of range of Tempo Mage. Tempo Mage cannot beat this deck, like regardless of how crazy the start they get.
Yeah, it's like this versus Freeze Mage. Like Freeze Mage just couldn't get there.
It's just like tank up, tank up, tank up, tank up, tank up.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And like one thing I really like about the like this list, as well as the kind of like a lot of the cards in this are quite common in Baku Warrior lists at this point, and so, like, I really like the inclusion of the Rush package. So that's the Town Criers, the Rabid Worgans, and Darius Crowley. So you have 3 Rush minions, as well as 2 tutored draws. Warrior kind of lacks card draw. All it's got is Shield Locks and an Acolyte of Pain. So being able to just tutor any kind of card draw out of your deck as a Warrior is incredibly powerful. And then they just kind of run the good Rush cards.
Well, those are like the best Rush cards that Warrior has, that's for sure.
I think that they're the best Rush cards in general, besides maybe Scale
Hide, yeah.
I'd Scale Hide as well. But 3-mana 3/3 with Rush is just a very good tempo play on turn 3, especially when there's so many 2/3s rocking about the meta right now. Again, just really good against Tempo Mage. Kill all their 2/3s and 1/3s. Kill a North Sea Cleric, kill an Acolyte of Pain.
Crowley can be a win condition if he kills enough stuff too.
And Crowley can just hard carry sometimes if it can't be dealt with. You can just get a 10 attack Crowley, start hitting them in the face. It's beautiful. And then it's quite convenient that a lot of Warriors quite useful removal. Shield Slam, Whirlwind, Brawl is all odd costed. There's Gorehowl as the kind of big weapon, as well as Fiery War Axes. So guys, the nerf was a buff for this deck. That was the plan all along. Fiery War Axe can finally be played in a real deck. And then there's the kind of really funky Ngoro combo. have you ever actually played Whirlwind King Wash in real life?
No. No, never.
Only in my dreams.
It's the most satisfying thing to play ever. I'm fairly sure.
You killed everything and you got a 9-9 or 9-7 or whatever King Wash is?
Yeah, just play it after they play like Spiteful Summoner, kill Tyrannus. Nothing easy.
It's like, uh-oh.
Like your word, I will take it to the grave.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like, this is more of a kind of a general point, but I really like how the odd and even decks have kind of made a home for, like, cards which were nerfed out of play. Like, there's Iron Beaks Owls in this deck, there's Fiery War Axe in this deck, like, all these cards which we just thought we'd never ever see play again in, like, anything amounting to a competitive deck. Baku has kind of brought them back in. So that is nice to see. It's like seeing an old friend again after all these years. And
yeah, it looks very familiar. It feels like it's a good control warrior deck, but again, it's definitely a tournament deck. Definitely not a ladder deck.
Yeah, and like talking a little bit about matchups, like I said, it does absolutely decimate Tempo Mage. Any kind of hunter just completely destroys as well.
Yeah, they just don't have enough resources to kill you.
Finite damage in a deck which has access to tank up, which is basically infinite health given long enough, it's just not going to go well, and they run very low impact minions. It's also incredibly strong against pretty much every paladin deck, especially the even and odd kinds, because basically if you're playing even or odd paladin, and once they get Baron Geddon down, you lose. Because you cannot do anything against Baron Geddon. It's just like, okay, you play all your dudes, they all die. Play some more dudes, they all die. So on, so on, so on. It's okay against Spiteful decks, if sometimes. It's still
really
quite unfavored. Big Game Hunter is in the deck for that reason.
Kills Tyrannus.
Big Game Hunter on Tyrannus is the best feeling in the world.
It really takes you back.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, Big Game Hunter. I remember that card.
You see 3 mana. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man.
But
those are the days.
It is definitely worth saying that I do kind of recommend, like, if you are crafting a sort of anti-aggro tournament lineup, which is looking to kind of capitalize on people trying to go face. A lot of people are bringing in Paladin and Tempo Mage. Like, those are two of the most common tournament decks right now.
This does hose that, yeah.
Yeah, this absolutely hoses that. So if you can combine like this with something like Control Priest, Control Warlock,
you just ban Rogue. You never let Rogue through.
Yeah, you just never, and maybe even Control Mage can do quite well against these aggressive strategies as well. But if you just want to avoid Quest Rogue at all costs, then this deck is okay. And if you can generally not ever get there against Q block as well, unfortunately. You got the double weapon removal. It does deal with Skull.
But you do not have Execute.
Yeah, but you don't have Execute. You don't have a lot of tools.
All you have is Shield Slam, really, for like the Giants.
Yeah. There is one card which is quite an interesting inclusion in this deck, and that is Reckless Flurry. That's not a card that I ever expected to see being played in anything, because it's essentially 5 mana, deal 4 to all minions, and that's actually very good as kind of a last ditch removal option, because aggro decks, their minions don't generally have more than 4 health.
Yeah, so that should be enough. But like, it is basically sacrificing health to destroy everything.
Yeah, but like, in the matchups where you want to play Reckless Flurry, it is generally the case that you're not going to have armor.
So any armor you sacrifice is like, I wasn't going to have it anyway.
You know, it's basically just tank up. Like, you have no armor, you tank up, you play Reckless Flurry, then like you play Shield Block or something. Shield Block Reckless Flurry is also a fairly good combo. Like some people even run things like Ironhide and Baku Warriors as well, just for the.
I have seen
extra
that,
sieges.
yeah.
So I think Baku Warrior is a really cool archetype, and I am kind of hoping that when the round of nerfs comes around, as Warlock might not be so prevalent, that things like Baku Warrior, Control Mage will be more viable, because these are like the decks I like playing. They are fun and interesting to play, and I hope we get to see more of them. So fingers crossed for the nerfs, guys. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
But with that, guys, I think that's about it for our show. Unfortunately, we don't have any new iTunes or Podbean reviews this week, so we're going to have to just end it here. So thanks so much for tuning in to the show tonight, everyone. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Around the Hearth and Facebook, which is facebook.com/AroundTheHearth, to get the latest news and announcements about the show. And please do subscribe to us on YouTube, because we'll be up there tomorrow. I'm going to try and get the videos up onto YouTube as early as possible every week. That is my goal.
Sure to smash that like, subscribe.
Yep, and remember to click the bell to be notified when a new video is posted, because YouTube's been very extra sneaky about the way things work. But most importantly, watching and listening to the show is all we can ever ask for support. If you do feel like supporting the show in other ways, check out our Patreon, which is patreon.com/AroundTheHearth, or consider subscribing on Twitch, or just using the Twitch Prime subscription if you do have one and you aren't using it on anyone else currently. That is always much appreciated. And as always, don't forget to follow the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, and on Podbean. So I have been Robubson tonight, and joined with me has been DS Adam and ZT Dubs. So
See you guys.
we shall see you next week for some more exciting news, I'm sure. Thank you all, and good night.